Hello, in this video we're going to be looking at advanced guidance lines. We're going to look at how to create an inner boundary line, and then we're going to be creating a guidance line based off that boundary line. Okay, to create an inner boundary, the first thing that we need to do is to copy the outside boundary, the field boundary that we hope is in exactly the right position. So the first job that we have to do is make sure that the boundary layer is at the top of our displayed layers box. Once it is, we'll highlight the field and then right mouse click and then select copy. So we're copying the boundary layer. Once we've done that, we're going to go back to our guidance lines layer, make sure that is at the top, then click the edit layers. In the field we're going to go right mouse click and then select paste addition. And we can see now that we've got a direct duplicate and a direct copy of the boundary that we want. So the next job, if we want to create the inner boundary so it is active and it is live, easy thing to forget, we right mouse click that and then select create offset. So if we want to make it say 12 meters inside field boundary, I will then make it 12 meters and make it to the right hand side so it comes on the inside of the field. I then click OK, and we see now that we've got our field boundary on the inside. The thing that is not particularly good is this top corner on the right hand side here, where the boundary something has gone awry. We can edit that is not a problem. So we will now make this inner boundary live, and then we will select the node edit tool, and this is where we can make the various nodes on the boundary layer live, and we can start to delete some of those points to make sure that the boundary layer that we want is then brought back into the place that we want it. If we hold them down and once they've turned red, we can move the points to the right position, and we can click delete so we can see what's going on. A few too many points there. And so then once we get to a position where the boundary is in the right place and you're happy with it, unfortunately if we do it this way, then we can't be guaranteed that the inner boundary is going to be in the perfect place. But if we haven't got a very good outer boundary, then it won't work either. So we need to make sure that our outer boundary is in the right place and is accurate before we start. So we've now created the inner boundary, which is exactly what we want, so we can click save and close from there. Now if we go back to editing our layer again, we've still got our outer boundary, and we probably don't need that as a guidance line. So what we're going to do is use that copied line. Once there we go, it's highlighted and live. What we're going to do is use the left hand edge here as our guidance line. To cut it, we do as we did before. We use the cut line tool, and then at two suitable points we'll click finish, start and finish, and then at this top corner left mouse click outside, right mouse create a point on the inside, right mouse click and then go finish. Using our select tool, we will select the part of the boundary that we don't want, highlight it, right mouse click and delete, and then do that with the bottom part where we've got an AB, right mouse click and delete. And then what we're left with is along this hedge here is an AB line which is directly above the field boundary, and that could become the master boundary if you wanted it to, of which we create all the other AB lines from. So you have a choice as to what you do. The last thing that we need to do is to name this, and then we will put a name to it. And so we save and close, and then now what we've got is the green line, which is 12 meters inside the field boundary, and then the pink one is the field edge AB line. So there we have a number of different ways, if we want to, using the software and some base information, we can create a range of AB lines. Using the field boundary AB line is a very good way of creating a contour or a curved AB line, because if you've got a curve in the boundary and we want to make sure that that is accurate and correct, then we can do the snipping of an outside AB line to directly replicate the curve of the field, whereas when we do it individually with points, it may not be as accurate as we want it to be. So what we've just looked at, even though we created a straight AB line down there, we could quite easily mirror it if we had a curved AB line to create this line down here, rather than doing it manually from a basic point of view. So many opportunities of creating guidance lines in the software.